estate rules in place costing you when selling your home? Well, tonight we're going in depth as a lawsuit filed right here in the Upstates accusing one of the big four real estate firms of inflating commissions.
The argument is that they have all gotten together and they have agreed to make the seller, the home seller, pay the buyer's broker, essentially, the person representing the buyer, a commission. And it's our position that well, that's just wrong. It's wrong to have the seller pay for the guy who's negotiating against you.
Lawyers Matt Sheely and Pat Nye explaining the lawsuit they filed on behalf of Chantel Burton, who sold her Spartanburg County home through Keller Williams.
Essentially, they are requiring sellers pay buyers, agents, and by making it public, they've made it so that everybody pays a 6% commission, and that buyer's agent's going to make a set commission.
They believe the seller should be able to negotiate the commission they pay to the buyer's agent.
It's going to really hurt that first-time home buyer.
Realtor Tommy Choi disagrees with the lawsuit.
It's going to pose a challenge, really, for us to be able to represent the consumers and be able to make sure that we also can have a business and a livelihood to provide for our families.
Saying it could add extra stress when buying a home. The suit calls the National Association of Realtors Clear Cooperation policy the cornerstone of the alleged conspiracy. It cites the National Association of Realtors handbook. That says real estate agents have a right to know what they'll be paid before they agree to get involved buying or selling the home. Meaning the seller's broker has to include the commission when posting the listing on the multiple listing service, or MLS, within one business day.
In every other sector of our economy, we are a free market country. It's only in the real estate sector that the big four real estate firms that own all these regional companies have gotten together with the National Association of Realtors and said, we're going to fix the commissions. You can't do that under the Sherman Antitrust Act, and the real estate industry shouldn't be treated any different than any other industry in the United States.
Now, this lawsuit is similar to one in Kansas City, Missouri, where a judge handed down a verdict saying the National Association of Realtors and two brokerage firms were liable for nearly $2 billion in damages for conspiring to keep commissions artificially high.
Those firms, Keller Williams Realty and Home Services of America. The other two firms named in the Missouri lawsuits, Remax and Anywhere Real Estate, formerly known as Reology, settled out of court, agreeing that they would not be requiring agents to be members of the National Association of Realtors. The verdict of that lawsuit sending ripples across the country.
My reaction is just pure disappointment because that verdict, that lawsuit is basically, for me as a practicing realtor, it's an attack on the American dream. And that verdict really put a huge step backwards for consumers and future homeowners. And really, it's an attack on private property rights.
But the suit filed here focuses on only one of those firms.
Ultimately, we represent Miss Burton, and she sold her home through Keller Williams. Should we get other clients who sold their homes through one of these other large real estate firms, then we could certainly bring suit, or somebody else could bring suit on their behalf.
And we also reached out to Keller Williams about this lawsuit. A spokesperson for the company responding, saying, quote, "We have followed the law regarding cooperative compensation and will vigorously defend ourselves against this lawsuit," end quote. The spokesperson also said, quote, "Offers of cooperative compensation remain negotiable and at the discretion of the seller." Now, when it comes to that Kansas City lawsuit, the company says they're focused on the next steps, which could include an appeal. Well, as of right now, there's no court date set for the lawsuit filed right here in South Carolina. Tonight, the big question really remains, could we see a difference with commission rates and who's paying them?
Now, Danny, you mentioned the ripple effects are there. This could really change the way people buy and sell houses here in South Carolina. Why do these local attorneys feel so passionate about this issue?
Well, like you heard one of the attorneys say, they really just feel like it's wrong to have the seller pay the agent who's negotiating against them for that better price. They think the commission should be more negotiable between both parties.
Now, speaking of the commission rates, the attorneys argue commission in the U.S. is higher than it should be.
Yeah, one of the documents the attorneys included here in this lawsuit is a review of international international residential real estate brokerage fees. So basically, it's what people around the world pay their agents. And here in the U.S., the paper says commission tends to be 6 to 7%. But the paper argues that based on global data, U.S. residential brokerage fees should be closer to about 3%.
So now the question is, what are some examples of commission rates from other countries?
And that's pretty surprising. That paper submitted by Burton's attorney says in Hong Kong, fees for sellers average around 1%. That's about the lowest in the world that you'll find. In the UK, rates average a little less than 2%. But here's the catch. Seller is often required to pay some of those advertising costs for the home. They have to pay out some of those costs. It also says many countries have a 5% or less commission, and that includes Germany and Spain. So a lot really to get into this, a lot of different parts moving with this, but this is a lawsuit that still has a long way to go.
Yes, it does. Very interesting. Dana, thank you.